What is going on, Apocaflix movie fans? I am Brian, this is Jacob and Jake, and we are here to talk a little Nerd Nation, episode 8, volume 8, issue 8, whatever we want to call it. We switch it every time, so it's just going to be all of them. But yeah, today we have a handful of topics for you guys that we are excited to talk about. How are you, Mr. Jacob?
I'm doing fantastic, man.
I almost said Obi-Wan Jacoby, and I was like,
wrong show. And I guess that's my official Star Wars name, but
I don't think
he hates it.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work like the others.
It works.
Anyway, that wasn't Star Wars, so.
And you, sir?
I'm good. Ready to talk some comic book stuff.
So we're gonna just dive right into it. Our first topic is that Catwoman has finally been cast. The Matt Reeves, the Batman movie, has finally kind of picked up the ball rolling. We obviously know Robert Pattinson is Batman, Bruce Wayne. But now we know that Zoe Kravitz will play Selina Kyle, Catwoman. Although it's funny because I've never heard them call her Selina Kyle. Yeah, it's
just Selina.
Catwoman. Mm-hmm. But yeah, what are our initial thoughts?
Well, I mean, this has been going. This character and rumor has been going for quite a while now. I mean, we casted or fan casted Penguin and Catwoman
didn't get
on the casting table, which you can
said
see.
Zoe Kravitz.
I said her for Kate Bishop. She was on my Kate Bishop episode, but so we this has kind of been in the works for a long time, right? That was a couple months ago. That was before Comic-Con, I believe, and you can go back and find it on the channel.
That was wild, yeah.
So it came to no surprise that the character was coming. But it's a surprise that they went with Zoe Kravitz because her name was never thrown around. Her name was never thrown around. But once her name came up and they officially casted her, all of these things started coming out about the trio that was considered for the role, but also that she also auditioned for The Dark Knight Rises in Christopher Nolan's movie. And it wasn't revealed whether or not it was for Catwoman, but she auditioned for that movie.
Oh, just something.
So it could have been Catwoman. It could have been a different role.
That was a while ago. She was a lot younger.
It was 7 years ago, so she probably would have been around 23, 24. Because she's about 30, 31
Oh, okay.
now.
She could have done it still,
but all in all, as far as the casting goes, I mean, it's really brilliant. It is fantastic. I really, really enjoyed what Anne Hathaway did with the character. Very different type of Catwoman, obviously. But Zoe Kravitz can bring a certain grounded take to a character that a lot of actresses can't. She's
you and I are about to say the same thing.
What?
That she's fantastic in Big Little Lies.
No, I was just in Big Little Lies she's great. In season 1 she's great. Season 2 she didn't have anything to do. She didn't have anything to do in season 2.
Yeah. Except for Mope.
She is very, very realistic in her acting. Like she brings a certain presence to a screen that everyone can relate to because it feels so real life. And to me that's like, okay, Matt Reeves is giving a very real-life, Nolan-esque take to this world that may be a little bit more comic booky than Christopher Nolan, but if you give that to Catwoman, that can be very interesting to play off of Robert Pattinson's Batman, because they're both younger, obviously, which is very, very cool. And I also have a feeling that Matt Reeves, more than anybody in the Batman world, is going to play off of their relationship more so like the comics than we've seen on screen, which excites me because Pattinson and Kravitz, like, that's killer. That is killer.
Yeah, absolutely.
She was, like we said, phenomenal in Big Little Lies. She was arguably one of the best characters in Fantastic Beasts, too. Yeah. But she got zero time.
The movie was just bad.
Yeah, she got zero time, and then, sorry, spoiler, they decided to kill her, which is like
yeah, that character would have been cool to go in.
She would have been phenomenal to see keep going. But she's perfect for this, especially like you said with Robert Pattinson.
As soon as I saw the news, I was like, yes, that's perfect. She has the look for it. Like, she just looks like that's Selina Kyle. That's Catwoman.
She looks like she could be very like slick, kind of
very agile too. Like you can see her running on rooftops and like just moving like a cat as well. And I've been a fan of her for a long time. She was in Dope. She had a small role in Dope.
Right.
She was in that comedy with Scarlett Johansson. What was that movie called? No, not that movie. The one with the 4 girls and they murder a stripper and...
Oh, Girls' Night.
Girls' Night. Is that what it's called?
Isn't it Girls' Night?
She's in that?
Yeah. She's in that.
Oh, you're right.
She's one of the friends. And so
wow,
I've
Isn't it
just
Girls' Night?
yeah.
and
I believe she was also in Californication too, and she was very young.
That would have been a
She
long
was the
shot.
daughter's friend.
That would have been a long.
She was one of the
time
daughter's
ago.
friends.
That makes sense.
So I've been a fan of her for a while, and I think this is amazing for her because she deserves an opportunity like this. And it's whether it's fair or not, these movies do put people in
Rough
the spot.
Night.
Yes,
Oh,
Rough
Rough
Night.
Night.
Rough Night. That's what it was.
It was a night.
These roles do put people in the spotlight more,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people know who she is because she's Lenny Kravitz's daughter. But
And
thing
Jason
is-
Momoa's
Stepdaughter.
stepdaughter, yeah. And as far as
But only 10 years younger than him.
as far as an
Put
actress,
them together
I
and
think
off,
this
yeah.
will just put her in a lot of people's eyes, and I just think it's a great opportunity. And they are going really young with this cast, which I love, which makes me think maybe they can play these characters for 5 movies.
At least 3.
Yeah.
I would say at least 3
When she
for
said
sure.
5, I was like, oh.
I mean, I don't want to jump ahead too
but
much.
they do.
No, I see what you're saying.
keep that in mind.
Yes.
Age-wise,
the
they
thing
can
is,
definitely play for a
they're
while.
not going to cast another 45-year-old person to play Batman.
No.
They're going.
Well,
totally
and I also
different
think
route.
I think at this point, you know, we saw Christopher Nolan's trilogy of movies. We saw Ben Affleck in a couple, and that was kind of a plan to be like, we're trying to build a universe. Like we want you to be an older Batman for a while. None of that has never worked out. They've done so many Batmans. I think Warner Brothers is at the point being like, let's cast someone who could be this for the next 10, 15,
Well, no
20
one's
years.
ever. The longest tenure was Christian Bale in 3 movies, and everybody wanted him back again.
That was 7
and it
years.
Didn't work out.
Yeah.
I think they're thinking, okay, if the first 3 work out, or whatever, if the first one works
They're
out,
playing the long
maybe
game.
this can be something
For sure.
for the next 15
For
years.
sure, and
or so.
going back to Kravitz, from my knowledge of her in the comics, and it's more than other characters in DC, but not a whole lot. The one thing that you see with Catwoman is that she's very, very sexy. Like that's kind of like the one word.
She reminds me of like a seductress.
Yeah,
That
and
type of
and
like.
Zoe Kravitz can play that very well. Very, very.
A lot of people's main
Seducing.
exposure to Catwoman is in Batman Returns, Michelle
Yes.
Pfeiffer, which
she
is
makes
sexy.
it exactly.
And they did have this relationship as well, and I agree with you. I do think they're going to play on their relationship because we were talking about it the other day. She's probably his main love interest
Yes.
throughout the comics overall.
For sure.
You know, he's been around a lot, but she's his main love interest if you look at things.
She's his Pepper Potts if you're a Marvel
exactly,
fan.
and which is crazy. I like that because she's a villain at first.
She's like she's
an anti-hero.
Yeah, she's like an anti-hero.
But at that time, she's a villain.
Well, she's a
works
burglar.
with the
She's a-
Penguin.
yeah, she's a burglar,
Like
exactly.
So
She does what benefits her.
she's
a bounty
she
hunter.
kind of plays both sides in a way, but ultimately ends up good, I would say.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. What's funny is I expected full backlash for this because, you know, the classic Catwoman's white and whatever. But
I think everyone loves it. I haven't seen many.
That's what I was gonna
much
say.
negativity
I haven't
at
heard-
all. Yeah.
anything. No, I've heard one person say, "Oh, I'm not a good casting." Everyone's been like, perfect. Like they've been totally on board with it, and I mean,
There's obviously the haters that want to see the original comic book storyline depicted on screen, right? I mean, it's the same people that hated on Pattinson being cast as Batman. So it's just something that, you know, look, it's not there's hardcore fans out there that think that this character needs to look exactly like this character and this character needs to look exactly like this character. It does not matter. If that
doesn't
person
at
can
all.
portray a great character, give them a shot, no matter who they
Catwoman's
are.
race has nothing to do with who
Exactly.
Catwoman is.
Exactly. It
So,
really doesn't matter. And
yeah.
honestly, like, if you hate it, that sucks because she's gonna give a great performance.
Mhm.
But you were always gonna hate it because the three women they were looking at were of darker skin. So it only makes sense.
Did they
that,
say
like,
who the other names were?
Zazie Beetz was the other
okay.
one, which is a very interesting choice. And then Gio's favorite, who he picked for Catwoman, Isa Gonzalez. She was in the
She
running
would
as
have
well.
been good.
Everyone would have loved to
all
have
of
seen
them
her,
would have
so,
done good, to be
yeah.
honest. Yeah.
I think personally, for me, out of those three, Zoe
No,
Kravitz.
yeah,
would have
me
been the one
too.
I wanted.
See,
Yeah.
initially, if you were to throw the 3 names at me a couple months ago, I probably would have said Isa Gonzalez as well.
Yeah, me
'Cause
too, actually, yeah.
She just, I see her as
Mhm.
Catwoman, but as soon as I saw Zoe Kravitz's name, I was like, hell yeah. Like,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Yeah, and then I mean, I think from the vibe I'm getting, it seems like they're going for like a more grounded Batman. Robert Pattinson just came out saying his Batman's not a hero. So
I feel like every Batman actor says that though.
I think they're honestly gonna use.
He sounds like that's something Batman would say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Maybe he was in the role at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then I really do think that he's gonna be more detective than.
Oh yeah.
Well, they've been saying that since
than
the beginning,
superhero though. Which
is cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he's always been.
Yeah.
Everyone's always made the argument Batman's not a superhero. Batman's not a superhero. He's a hero. He's not a superhero. He's a hero.
Well, he doesn't have superpowers.
Exactly, which is people correlate, but it's also because of he's more of like a high tech, extremely intelligent detective.
Extremely rich.
Yes, he basically is part of the GCPD that a level that doesn't match GCPD level. You know what I mean? Like he works with them so much you can kind of think of him as like a costumed cop in a way,
Vigilante.
just with no rules. You know what I mean? So Matt Reeves knows what he's doing. He really does, and I think that he's gonna play on stories that we've seen in the comics, and we've heard the Long Halloween or was it the Halloween Night?
No,
or
the Long Halloween.
The Long Halloween, and
which
I think
he's picked up and
he's 100% going to do the detective stuff and really focus on him as an intelligent, hero.
And the other characters we know are going to be in this movie lends itself so well to a detective.
Oh, what a good segue there, Jacob. And it just
didn't do that on purpose.
So just so happens that Jacob's wearing the color of.
Whoa, I didn't even realize
it happened
that.
today, the day of filming.
Yeah.
Today, we just found out that Paul Dano is going to be the Riddler, which you guys are excited about. I have not seen any of his movies that he's been in, so I'm just kind of like, okay, but
he's a perfect choice for the Riddler. He really is. Like
everyone seems to be like, yeah.
A little backstory on this. For weeks now, it was always Jonah Hill, right? Jonah Hill was in talks. They were going after him for the villain role. It was either Penguin or Riddler. A lot of people were leaning towards the Riddler because it just made more sense. Even though he looks like he can play the Penguin, it just made more sense for Riddler. And those talks were ongoing and ongoing. Today, the day of filming, by the time this comes out yesterday, it was announced that Jonah Hill, he was no longer in talks because he wanted too much money. And
he wanted more than Robert Pattinson.
Yes, and you don't give a villain more money unless you're like Daniel Day-Lewis, right? Like that's just, or Leonardo DiCaprio for that matter. Like it just doesn't work that way. So he was out, and then just hours later it came out, they locked down Paul Dano. And I have a feeling that Warner Brothers is like, we're going to shoot for Jonah Hill. If it doesn't work, we need a guy on a back burner that we really want. And I'm sure the second that deal ended, they're like, hey, do you want to be the Riddler?
So we'll give you this much money. I think that Jonah Hill's out, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, now I think that it's different. I think that he was going for Penguin because I was online today seeing that they're like, now they want Seth Rogen. And I'm like,
I hated that.
No, that's who they're looking at right now. Well, that's what they're saying. Rumor mill. But like, to me, like, who's the next to Jonah Hill? Like, that instantly comes to your head. Seth Rogen. So I'm like, maybe he was Penguin. I still think they were talking to do Penguin the whole time. But that's just me.
We'll never know.
I don't know. I don't want to say, because Penguin's such an iconic character, but I kind of don't want Penguin right now.
No, neither do I.
Maybe later, but just, I don't want Penguin right now. Look, the Jim Carrey Riddler is, as a kid, it was great, but it was just way over the top, right? I've been wanting to see a legit Riddler on screen. And
you didn't watch Gotham, did you?
I dabbled in it.
That was a great character, but he wasn't Riddler.
No, but he was more of a...
he was Edward Nygma. He was
I only watched a little bit of season 1.
Yeah.
But if you're going for a detective movie feel, and what does the Riddler do? He sets up riddles and mysteries, right? It's going to be amazing. And Paul Dano, I'm no Paul Dano expert, but I have seen him in a few films. And the thing for me is, in Prisoners, he's so just, there's something off about him in Prisoners. And with the Riddler, even though he's this genius, there's something off about the Riddler. Mm-hmm. There should be. And he's a very different character than Penguin, who's gonna do all these over-the-top crazy things. And even he's a very different character than Joker. And I just think that this is more subtle and it's more low-key. I would have been down for the Jonah Hill casting, but I kind of like this more because the Jonah Hill casting would have been too distracting, almost.
And it would have been a very different kind of Riddler.
It would have. And I don't want to be unfair and say that it would have been a more comedic Riddler, but I feel like it would have been, even though Jonah Hill is a 2-time Academy Award nominee. He's a great actor, but for this movie, I would rather see someone like Paul Dano who's going to play it more low-key and kind of just... He's more creepy and more... I'd be more scared of him on screen as a Riddler character than I would to Jonah Hill.
Yeah, I totally agree.
You think they'll make him more creepy than funny?
I think so, especially if Paul Dano's playing him.
Yeah. Not
necessarily creepy, but just more intimidating.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll take him more seriously.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Paul Dano is the much better choice in my opinion. I think that he faces up against Robert Pattinson a lot better than Jonah Hill
and
would.
Again, young actor in their lower 30s.
Yeah, I know that we've seen Jonah Hill in plenty of roles where he can kind of play the psychotic character a little bit, but Paul Dano, like you had mentioned, Prisoners. He's been in other films like There Will Be Blood and Love and Mercy, and even in a movie like Swiss Army Man, where he was, essentially just a dead character the entire time. He plays a certain role a specific way with his face. He doesn't do a lot of body movements. There's not a lot of body movements, which the role may require, but he acts with his face, and it's like really enticing. Like the way like he acts on screen. If he ever gets like that one role that is like an Oscar film, I could easily see him winning an Oscar someday. Like easily see him winning an Oscar.
Well, I think this is his biggest role to this.
Yeah, 100%.
And just like Zoe Kravitz, more people know who Zoe Kravitz is, but I think this is going to put him on the map as well.
A lot of us know him from the film world and other smaller films, but this is by far the role that's going to be like, okay, this guy really is capable.
Or at least you can be
something.
Like that one guy who played the Riddler, and people will be like, oh he was good, No,
I love the casting. I think it's great, and I think it shows, again, with the Kravitz casting, it shows what kind of movie they're going for, what kind of story they're going for. It's very exciting.
So I've always been looking forward to this movie, but just recently I've been getting ever since the Robert Pattinson casting, but even with these two castings, I am so excited for this movie, to be honest. And
so am I.
I don't remember the last time I was this excited for a DC movie. Maybe it was Batman v Superman in the early days. But
it's been a while for me.
Yeah.
It has been a while for me. I mean, you were pretty stoked for Wonder Woman.
I was. That's right. That's true.
I will say this: I was stoked for Suicide Squad. I was. My excitement was very similar.
Well, how could you not have been with those trailers?
Yeah,
those
but the second Matt Reeves was on board, I'm like, this is instant for me.
I've been excited for every DC movie, but this one it's Batman. It's freaking Batman, and
Justice League?
Of course, yeah, absolutely. But we haven't seen. I mean, I love the Ben Affleck Batman, but the movies he was in weren't that great.
Yeah.
We haven't seen a great Batman movie with Batman in it since The Dark Knight. I'm not even gonna say The Dark Knight Rises. I have mixed feelings on The Dark Knight Rises.
It was still good.
Yeah, but from the first time I saw it, I wasn't in love with it. But since this will be the best Batman movie since The Dark Knight, in my opinion.
Well, and
there's only been one.
Honestly,
still,
this is
the best movie with Batman in it since The Dark Knight.
This is the Batman movie that we've been wanting for a long time because it's really showing his comic arc, being a detective, right? Solving those mysteries, going on the manhunt for a certain character, kind of, answering the riddles for this specific movie. But if we are talking Penguin a little bit, there's one guy that I wanted to throw out there that makes complete sense that has to be in this movie because of their past work together. Andy Serkis. Matt Reeves and Andy Serkis. It would only make sense as Penguin. Andy Serkis and Matt Reeves together is pure gold. I mean, obviously because of what he did with the Planet of the Apes movies and Caesar, it just makes sense. And even if it's not Penguin, it's not Penguin. But I see Andy Serkis in this movie. It just makes sense to me.
Not as Gorilla Grodd or something.
Maybe as a mocap.
Or what's that? There's another Batman villain who's like a creature. I can't remember who it is. Hey, there you go, King Shark.
Or you're thinking of Killer Croc.
No, there's another one, but
put him as the Penguin, man.
Yeah,
be genius.
I think he would do great as the Penguin, but I kind of want it to just be these characters.
So do I.
Batman.
Save the Penguin for later.
Catwoman and Riddler. Those are the three main characters of this movie. There's going to be other outside characters, DC characters, but
tease someone at the end. Leave it on them too. You don't want too many.
Not to mention we already know Commissioner Gordon too.
Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which is awesome. And the rumored casting from weeks ago of Giancarlo Esposito and Jamie Foxx that were rumored around to be the movie.
Oh, I didn't hear Jamie Foxx.
Those two names were rumored to be around in the film. It kind of died down slowly, but if they are cast, who could they be playing? Maybe one of them Alfred, maybe one of them someone else.
Who knows? Giancarlo is going to be a mob boss.
But that's what he plays all the time. I don't see him being cast as that. He's basically
He
a
could
mob
be-
boss in The Mandalorian.
He could play Alfred.
Yeah.
What if they do some crazy stuff? Jamie Foxx is Alfred.
He'd be a badass Alfred. He'd be Alfred from Gotham, one who gets in the action. That'd be awesome.
That would be cool.
That'd be awesome.
I don't know why, but I immediately, when you said that, thought of his character in Robin Hood, where he was
Training
Yeah.
and stuff.
I wouldn't like that.
Alfred
That's because
supposed
the movie
to be
wasn't good.
from? Alfred's supposed to be British though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever.
I mean,
Doesn't matter. They could
really
change it.
matter.
Doesn't matter.
Really
They could
doesn't
change it.
Give me that rumor that Pierce Brosnan was going to be...
That's a good rumor.
I would like that.
That's a good rumor.
Have
He's
to
on the
post
spotlight
something.
right now. That makes sense.
That's our next casting table, Alfred.
Hey, why not? All the castings for this are coming out like crazy. Why not?
The Batman's butler.
That'd be hilarious.
So, my one question is, do you think Selena Kyle Catwoman would be more bad or good?
She's going to be a little bit of both in this one. I do think that... I don't...
Hold on. Do you think they're going to tell... This is what I'm hoping they don't do. Do you think they're going to tell his backstory? Or they're just going to skip it like Spider-Man, like you've heard it 100 times?
Whose backstory?
Bruce Wayne.
I don't.
No, they're not going to tell us.
They're not going to tell it
Because
Do
they just
not
showed it
show
in
us
Joker
another
too.
alley
They just
scene.
showed it in
Come
Joker too.
on.
They're not going to show it again.
That's why.
If anything, it'll be in the opening credits of the movie. They'll do a glance over like they did in Batman v Superman, which was a great opening scene.
It was. I don't think they're going to show it at all though. I don't.
I hope they don't need to.
It's kind of like
they don't need to.
the-
Everyone knows it.
Yeah.
Everyone
it's like the
knows
Uncle
it.
Ben of Spider-Man. It's like
Exactly.
beat the
Those
dead horse.
two,
We just heard it.
You don't ever have to show them again on screen.
I do think that this will be the movie that they meet for the first time, though. Catwoman and Batman.
Okay, that was what
I don't think they'll have a prior
question.
relationship because I think she'll be in all three of them.
I
If they do a trilogy, I
think
think that
that's
she'll
true.
be in all of them.
So, are we thinking? You think Riddler's going to be the main antagonist of the whole movie?
Mhm.
It's pretty.
Of this movie?
yes.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
I mean, it makes sense too if he's a young Batman. Like, say he's just a couple years in, he's faced some burglars, right? Nobody like a real main villain. Riddler makes sense for a first real main villain. You know, no superpowers, just sets up bombs or robs stuff and leaves riddles behind. It makes sense for him to kind of tip his toes in there. And if they're going the detective style, he has to be a detective to figure it out. So it just makes complete sense.
And I know this is going to set you off. It seems like Batman right now, what they're doing is grounded a little bit. This would be perfect if this goes off like this. If they stick to that grounded for Court of Owls to be like a sequel or come into
That's aggressive for a sequel because that takes a lot of setup. That takes a lot of setup. And honestly, I'd much rather see that over like a trilogy or 2 movies. That story is so prime. Like, we're getting too far off of a tangent, but that story is too prime for just one movie, in my opinion. It really is. Like that, you can tell that story over 2, 3, 4 movies if you really wanted to.
I'm just glad we're getting something that we haven't gotten in a long
Yes.
time, which is Riddler. I mean, we've seen Catwoman, but she was in the 3rd movie of the trilogy and didn't.
She wasn't really even Catwoman though.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, like she just had ears on her
I mean,
goggles.
she was
That's
Selena,
all she had.
but that's Christopher Nolan, right?
Yes,
Did
yes,
not
exactly.
calling her Catwoman.
Exactly.
She was a cat burglar.
Exactly.
But she was Selena Kyle. So, but yeah, but I think it's gonna be more comic booky though. This version of it.
I think it'll be a mixture of the let's say Christopher Nolan's movies and
Sin City.
and the Michael Keaton ones in a way.
no, I would even say something like Justice League
Okay.
because Justice League was way more comic booky than Michael Keaton's. Michael
No,
Keaton's
yeah,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
a weird gothic club
It
in
was
Gotham
Tim
City,
Burton,
right? Like it was
yeah.
kind of strange, like Tim Burton, but
Yeah.
it wasn't very like comic booky in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just give me like dark, gloomy. Like
I think we'll see superpowers in.
Yeah.
Maybe not in this first one, but in one of these Batman
At some point,
movies.
or
We'll
like
see
maybe he's going through Arkham
we'll
and we
see
see something.
superpowers,
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
Batman doesn't have too many superpowered villains.
Like let's say they did Poison Ivy eventually, right? She's superpowered villain.
Black Canary, a real canary
Mhm.
cry, like they're doing in Bird's Prey.
You know what I would love, and we can talk about this later. If they introduce Oliver Queen into
And Green
this.
Arrow,
Maybe he's
yeah.
not in the DCU, but into this, and somehow they butt heads like in the sequel.
We're gonna talk about this later because of that episode for Arrow.
Yeah.
Great tease.
I didn't even,
great tease.
This is part of our...
Great tease for that. We will
But
get to that in a little bit later.
That would be really cool. Something where, because to me, them fighting makes more sense than Batman and Superman fighting.
And you bring Stephen Amell back.
Absolutely.
Or you give it to Charlie Hunnam.
No.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, I can't
Someone.
Charlie. I know what you're getting.
I just love the Oliver Queen character.
So do I. He's awesome.
So
He's
whoever it is, if they just bring it in,
even
and
just
then
have like Queen
they
Industries.
butt heads. Batman and Arrow fight.
Well, there is,
and then obviously they end up working together.
They could have a relationship like Tony Stark and Cap. Because they're both very similar in ways where they're both millionaires. They both own a company. They both don't have superpowers, right? They both work with technology, and they live on different sides of the country if that's how they set it up. But you can easily see something like that. I could totally
see that.
Very cool.
If they are going more grounded in this, we're probably not going to ever see Superman interact with this Batman, right? But in Oliver Queen,
and they have a very similar backstory, right? Taught by a different side of the world, stranded, doing different.
Like, how much would we freak out if we saw Arrow and Batman fighting side by side together?
That'd be awesome. Against Deathstroke.
That's what I was just about to have a team up.
Before we get off on a tangent, let's go to our next topic.
Not in this movie, though. Not in this movie.
No.
So our next topic is Deadpool is, we know, in the Marvel lore with Disney now. But more and more we've been hearing his name come up, especially with that picture that Ryan Reynolds dropped of him.
At Marvel Studios?
The Marvel Studios saying that he was, who, Andrew Stark?
No, Anthony Stark.
Anthony Stark trying to be.
And then they escorted him out.
Yeah.
So, but his directors for the Deadpool 1 and 2, screenwriters.
Writers, yeah.
Have kind of been talking a lot more, and it sounds like we will be getting Deadpool in the MCU, but more importantly, we are keeping the R rating, which is a pretty big deal for Disney, because Disney doesn't really do R-rated movies. So we have a little quote saying that, this is from Paul Warwick and Rhett Reese about the future of Deadpool in his movie, saying, "The plan and the hope is that Marvel allows us to continue Deadpool in his R-rated universe that he lives in. Also, hopefully over time, we get to play a little bit in the MCU sandbox as well." Jacob, going straight to you.
Oh my goodness. I'm so torn on this because I know that Deadpool fully in the MCU means probably not going to be rated R. And especially when he goes into other people's movies or an Avengers film, right? Or an X-Men film. But maybe they can play it where he doesn't curse as much or something. There's not as much violence, but in those movies and then in his own. But I don't want them to take away the rated R films. I want them to continue to be rated R. Deadpool is written as a rated R character, so that's just who he is. And basically, I think a PG-13 Deadpool's not Deadpool, pretty much. And I don't know if there's a perfect way to mix it, but I really don't know. Like, if you ask me, gun to my head, either PG-13 Deadpool in the MCU or keep him rated R. And I really wouldn't answer. I couldn't answer that. It's crazy.
I'd probably rather him be out of it.
Yeah, and I think I would lean more towards that because it's just going to feel so unnatural. And especially because what do? We just ignore the continuity of Deadpool, the first Deadpool
That's
movies?
the only thing that I've been
because you have seen those past X-Men characters in there. And it's just going to get really tricky. But I guess when you get into multiverses and all these type of things,
there's
different
gonna be
timelines, there's a way to do it. But it's just interesting. I almost hate this because it doesn't give us an answer, really. They said they're going to continue to do rated R movies, but would you be surprised if a month later we hear a different report that it's not going to be rated R? I wouldn't be surprised because these things change, especially this early in the stages. So I'm still just kind of torn about this. I just want a clear-cut answer of he's in the MCU or not.
We won't have an answer for a while.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll have it. I mean, him meeting at Marvel Studios is obviously a plus. They're going to go forward with the character. We've known that for months now. They said that the one character coming over in this deal that's going to stay the same is Deadpool. Just makes sense. going to the R rating first, I think that there's one of two ways that you make it happen. You have his solo movies be rated R, and when he jumps into other movies, those are PG-13, and maybe you bleep him out, or he makes some kind of joke that makes people realize...
Wasn't that Christmas one PG-13?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But that was just Deadpool titled something.
Yeah.
And then he goes into like a Spider-Man movie or something, and then he makes a joke saying like, Disney won't allow me to do this. And then everyone understands, right?
Yeah.
And it can still be the same character, but it's different because he cusses every other word. I get that. But you can also throw in beeps maybe, and maybe he's like, they're beeping me now? Like, all of this type of stuff. There's
totally
jokes to way to do it.
Of course, yeah.
And then you go to the continuity, again, it goes to the character of Deadpool. He just makes a joke about being, Disney bought me, and they wanted to keep me, but leave all my friends behind. Mm-hmm. And this is why you see them in those movies, and now I'm in them with these movies. And so there's ways to do it, and if there's any character that you can make it happen with, it is Deadpool. And then there's obviously the second outcome, which is you just don't include him in the MCU movies. He can talk about things that happen, like maybe he's in a city where something happened, he makes a joke about it, or there's an appearance from someone else, but he operates on his own, inside his own little world, because realistically, Deadpool's not saving the world on certain aspects. He's fighting crime bosses, or he's fighting someone like Ajax in the first movie with the helicarrier that we thought it was, which now possibly can be a helicarrier. So he's not fighting aliens and doing that type of stuff. You'd obviously have to connect the dots with the whole X-Men and mutant stuff that happens, because he is a mutant. He is part of that world. But there's really ways that you can creatively and intelligently tell the story about how he's not necessarily included in this world, or how he is, and he just has to be PG-13. Because he's not going to go in a Spider-Man movie, and he's not going to drop the F-bombs every other second. They're allowed one F-bomb. He's going to use it probably the first second he's on screen, and then maybe something else happens the rest of the movie where they make a joke about it.
That'd be so funny if they let one slip, and then the rest of the time he's beeped, and he's like...
Yes, exactly. Like, that would
see
be
him
so
do it in
funny.
like the first 3 minutes, and be like, damn it, that was my one.
And it's also quite funny to me that this is like such a big story, because we're leaving out the biggest part in that he's now under the control of Kevin Feige. Like, Kevin Feige knows
he's gonna
what he's
figure
doing.
it out, yeah.
He knows what he's doing. He's in charge of all of Marvel now. Comics, TV, movies, everything. There's no way he's not going to figure out a way to put Deadpool in it. There's really not. Whether it's on his own or included in the universe. And if we think about it, do we really see him being an Avenger? Like, do we really see him being an Avenger?
A joking Avenger.
I see him as an X-Men more than an Avenger, so I don't see him in Avengers movies
and
down the line.
I do see him
just randomly popping up.
Yeah, like in the corner of the screen saying hi or something.
I do see him being a side character in like a Spider-Man. Or something like that, or a Doctor Strange, anything like that. You know what? No matter what, I'm just so grateful that we're keeping Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. No matter what happens, Disney could have said, nope, we're scrapping that. We're creating a new Deadpool. He's going to be part of this new X-Men world. I'm so glad they're not doing that. I don't care what they do. Thank you for keeping Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool.
It just makes sense to keep him. Yeah. He's the perfect guy.
Let's be honest. Money does not lie. How much money those movies have made is a huge reason why they're keeping
they're only going to
as
make
well.
more money the fact that Marvel Studios is over the name now.
And can you imagine, or even better, what's easier is to have a Spider-Man in a Deadpool movie, because you don't have to worry about him not cussing.
Or a Venom.
Yes, which would even make more sense.
R-rating. He could do an R-rating with Venom.
Tom Hardy and Ryan Reynolds.
And Tom Holland.
Yes,
all three of them in together.
Tom Hardy with Deadpool would be pretty good. Like, that Venom, like, if that Venom could, swim.
Have Venom talking to Deadpool.
Those two together.
Oh.
With Spider-Man just looking at him.
And at some point, like, if it was a Deadpool movie, like, Venom would absorb Deadpool, and can you imagine, like...
Venompool, they have comics of that.
That's what I'm saying. Can you imagine, like, Deadpool with... Oh, my God, it would be hilarious.
Ryan Reynolds playing with those characters would be incredible.
They're going to do it.
Incredible. I would love to see, like, Team Red on screen, where it's Deadpool, Spider-Man, Daredevil, like, seeing those... Because they're all grounded... Or not Spider-Man, obviously. He's included in the
Avengers. The thing is, I think we're good... I guarantee you we're going to... If he's in the MCU and it's all tied, they're going to see Blade and Deadpool on screen together.
Makes sense.
Guarantee it. Maybe there's this... They're in the MCU, but there's this lower level of heroes like Daredevil, Blade,
like
Deadpool. And they're doing more like fighting crime boss type stuff or fighting vampires. Yeah.
He would be so funny to show up in Blade, because he'd be like, this is oddly familiar. Or
Yeah,
something like
absolutely,
Ryan Reynolds.
yeah.
Actually.
Well, yeah, you make a joke from Blade 3. But yeah, we're talking about all these characters, and the thing that we have to remember is that Deadpool works with every character because it's all about jokes. It's all about jokes. Like him with Rocket, right? Those two together, or him with someone like Mantis or Thor.
Can you imagine him with Groot?
Him and Groot, the I Am Groot thing, like
him and Star-Lord.
No,
him and Drax. Like we're naming all the Guardians.
Yeah.
Here and that'll probably never happen. But
him and the Guardians of the Galaxy.
He's in Guardians 4. Just
they could put him in anything.
Yeah.
Deadpool and James Gunn would be brilliant, though.
That is
just
a really
saying.
good combo.
Just saying.
It's funny because I've always just like imagined him like they like make, I don't know, Spider-Man 3, and then like they have Deadpool like in the exact same movie, but it's his movie where he's just like screwing around with everything. Like just be like, oh, this person's coming. Like he knows everything that's about to happen and stuff. I don't know.
There's so much they could do.
They can do anything with him. Absolutely.
It's gonna happen though. It's 100% gonna happen. And obviously Ryan Reynolds being at Marvel, Red Reese and Paul Rennick talking about it, right? They're doing all kinds of things, and I think they're attached to something.
They're trying
else.
to figure out a way to make it work.
Yeah, it's in like we mentioned, it's Kevin Feige. He's gonna make it happen. If it's one thing that he can bring over,
I think
it's that.
Kevin Feige knows what the fans want, and I think he's tuned into what the fans want, and he knows there's no way they could have just canceled Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool.
Question before we move on though. Is there a chance that Kevin Feige can get Tim Miller to come back and direct a Deadpool movie? He did the first one.
Probably.
Didn't come back because of creative differences with Fox.
Yeah.
Not Ryan Reynolds.
I think yes, but I don't think that's a necessity. It doesn't have to. But
I would love
it
to
would be great. Mm-hmm. It would be great because Deadpool 1, in my opinion, Deadpool 1 is far superior to Deadpool 2.
I agree with you. I don't like Deadpool 2.
And which is weird. I really like Deadpool 2, but I hear a lot of people say they like Deadpool 2 more. I'm astonished by that, to be honest. I think Deadpool 1 is way better. I would love to see that, but I don't think it's a necessity. It's not like, it's way different, but it's not like we have to get James Gunn back to direct Guardians of the Galaxy 3. You know, it's not that level of getting a director
I think
back.
it was more the writers than it was a director for Deadpool, at least. I mean, they kind of like never left his side.
No.
Like, it was like...
They're doing other movies together. Aren't they doing the Clue movie with those same writers?
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure.
But I mean, like, those... It's funny because those directors were kind of almost... Or writers were almost like package deal, the way they kind of always... They never really let go. Like, oh, we're going to keep Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool. And they're going to be a part of it, too. Like, Tim Miller was never really like...
He paid for them to be on set. Like, he went out of his own pocket to be on set for the first Deadpool movie.
Yeah. This also includes, whether or not it happens or not, but we're also going to get a Zazie Beetz Domino and a Josh Brolin Cable in the MCU.
I hope so, to be honest.
Story.
They're going to keep him. I'll put money on it.
There's a good chance they only bring over Deadpool from that universe. There's a chance that happens, but I would love to see Zazie Beetz come over. Yeah,
I think really do. But then you're gonna get rid of the rest.
You keep it all. You keep everything from Deadpool inside Deadpool.
No, I hope they keep Negasonic Tarantino.
That's not just what I say.
And she's great. Brianna Hildebrand.
Yeah, and she's Colossus.
Yeah. Who was her girlfriend in it?
Oh,
it was. I don't remember, but every
time Deadpool goes,
like, bye bye. Yeah. Like that's exactly like the only one that.
I'm gonna look her name up quick.
The only one that would be.
We know her name. Like it's
it's
a known X-Men character.
Something.
Yeah.
The only one that would make me more leery would be like Colossus. I don't know if they would, because that's a pretty big X-Men character.
Well, the thing is, Colossus is from the Deadpool. It started in the first Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fair game. If it's anything that began in the old X-Men movies, probably not. But
there's
honestly,
if
you ask me, they're gonna only bring one character other than Deadpool from the Deadpool universe. I would say Colossus, because I love him and Colossus.
Cable.
Him and
Cable
Colossus.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We should probably move on because on time. Her name is Yukio, by the way.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
I love that. She was so funny with her. So yeah, our final topic is going to be the CW and the Arrowverse as we know it. Arrow's coming to an end, unfortunately, and and it's
been
shame.
a long journey.
It really has, because Stephen Amell is anything you could have ever asked for Green Arrow and more. He literally solidified himself in that role. Like, I mean, people are gonna always, if
he's
they ever,
the greatest comic book character TV actor to portray a comic book character on TV, in my opinion. In my opinion,
that's a bold
Tom
statement.
Welling.
You haven't seen Smallville?
Nope. For me, it's Oliver Queen. It's look, Arrow.
No, I'm with you.
Arrow started
You think
this.
Stephen Amell's
I
better?
don't
Arrow started a long time ago. It was the first
2012.
comic book TV show of this renaissance of comic book shows, Marvel or DC.
Yeah,
it was
very true.
Yeah.
Well, Smallville was the first.
Well, yes, but not
in the
of
new
this
era.
new era.
Yes, I agree.
In the new era of comic books, it was the first one. And it was a DC property, and DC wasn't doing...
Yeah, but, I mean, it's... Yeah, we have 9 episodes left. We all know what's coming, but...
See, I don't. You say that, and I think we're wrong. I think they're going to...
I'm just talking about Crisis.
Oh.
I'm just talking about Crisis. But let's break these episodes down by one. Let's go through Arrow first, because it premiered this week. We've seen the rest the previous week, but I mean, this episode to me was pretty killer. The way they told the story, how it was basically an homage to the very first season of the show.
All those
and it quickly and very smartly ran through the 20 plus episodes of the first season in just 45 minutes. I love the Tommy Merlin stuff. Obviously, you have to have him in there because of their relationship.
Tommy's such a great character.
And we got such a short time with him. He was only in the first season. Which is wild.
He's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, Black Siren turning into Black Canary in her badass costume.
She was kick-ass.
I love this Laurel so much more than the old
she's
Laurel.
Still around.
So much more than the old Laurel. I love that it was actually John Diggle that popped up in a very cool fashion.
Like the
being the bodyguard
John Diggle from the real.
Yeah. Seeing Moira back and then Chase. Having him come back and being the Green Arrow, which is very interesting.
Oh yeah, that was
great episode.
Good,
I thought it set up a lot of cool things, but the biggest thing is that they get right to Crisis. Like it's here.
On.
Like it's officially here because Earth 2 is.
They're not wasting time.
By the way, spoilers. Sorry, Earth 2 is gone. Like it is wiped out, and if Crisis is officially here, it's wild.
I couldn't believe they got straight to it.
Crazy.
In Arrow and the Flash, right?
Yeah. Well, in a Vision. Yeah.
Yeah, that episode was wild, and it was. I loved every single time Stephen Amell's like, "No, it's this. Trust me." Like he's just like that snarky, like this is gonna happen.
Well, that's the billionaire playboy.
I didn't know. I didn't read the synopsis of the episode or anything. So I just jumped right into it. I'm like, wait a minute, what's happening?
I was confused for the first 10 minutes until they went to Black Canary.
Me too.
I was so confused. I
confused.
paused it and I looked at the episode and it said season 8, episode 1. I thought I was watching the first episode again
because
on accident.
But
then it showed Batman's mask instead of the Deathstroke mask, and I was like, "What? Can we see that, please?
Can we
please see that?"
I literally paused it and I was like, "Wait, that wasn't in the original one."
Yeah.
And then I kept going and I'm like, "This is weird."
That means that Batman was there with him, Bruce Wayne. That means that he got a hold of the Mirakuru. And he went mad.
Like it was everything that happened to Deathstroke.
And Oliver Queen beat him.
Yeah.
It was literally Arrow versus Batman on an island.
Why did they do that to us? Because we're never going to see
never.
it.
Never going to see
and
it.
I want it to be Stephen Amell and whoever.
I didn't even think about all that.
Yeah, he mentored Green Arrow.
Instead
he mentored him.
Like he trained him.
And then he went bad. And then, it wasn't Stephen Amell, Oliver Queen. It was Vincent Chase. But and then he went over to Starling City in season 2, and he was trying to take it over with the Bat Gang, not the Deathstroke gang, right? I mean, all of the things that have happened in Arrow, replace that with Deathstroke, from Deathstroke to Batman in that world. Could you imagine? Oh my goodness!
Yeah. Crap! I didn't even think about all that stuff.
Just a great first episode. I can't wait to see what happens next.
I could do without the future Flashes though.
I'm cool with it because they're doing a spin-off series. I'm cool with it.
But do we really need all this when we're getting last 10 episodes of Arrow?
They're only doing it because of that reason.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, I do like her as their child.
So I do, yes. I do like her, but
see, this is where
I'm just like, we don't have a lot of time.
So the flash forwards, the blonde girl with the bow and arrow,
Oh yeah. Oh, those ones.
kids.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So
okay.
it's
I thought you were talking about
the
Flash,
the
and I was
older
like,
gentleman
what?
that's kind of like running it is William.
Yeah, no,
their
I
stepson.
know all that.
Or his son.
When you said the Flash forwards, I was like, the Flash.
Oh, sorry,
I was
no,
like,
flash
No.
forwards.
The
Like,
Flash
They used to be
forwards.
flashbacks. Now they're
forwards
flash.
on
Yeah, no,
Arrowverse.
I got all that. Okay,
Yeah.
it makes sense now. I was like,
It's just
I
setting
didn't
up
see
the
Flash.
future because we know that I don't know if it's called Birds of Prey, but they're doing a show
Canaries, right?
with the Canaries.
Yeah.
They probably will end up calling it Birds of Prey, which just makes sense. But I mean, they're cool. They're not the greatest thing in the show, but they're not in it.
I'm not against it. If we're like in the middle of the series or whatever, it's fine. But it's just when all this more important stuff's going on.
I'm excited to see that go down because it has to do with the Diggles, right? Diggles' sons are going at it. You have you have Mia Queen in there. You have the two Canaries that are going to be back in there, so it's going to be really cool. But that's far off. So. Yeah, William. Yeah.
That I mean, that episode was wild, and then the ending was like heartbreaking.
I was just gonna say that it was so heartbreaking.
Seeing them all just like
and it sucks
evaporate.
because he already lost Tom. He's lost Tom. He lost
them
his
all again.
mom. Just
He had to rewatch all of his friends. Emily died, but he saved Laurel, which is that could be some wild stuff moving forward with her. Because I mean, you know,
it was kind of weird. Everything was happening all slow and just letting everyone die. And he's like, "No, come on, Laurel, let's go."
Well, he knows that he probably needs her.
Yeah.
She out of all of those.
And that's
characters,
the same Laurel, the one that was in the Flash and on the bad one, right? That was
Black Siren.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
She
So
went good.
it's not like
she was the DA in the last season.
Yeah. So it's a character that he has a relationship with already. It's not just a random.
I like this Laura a lot better than
me
previous
too.
Laura.
Me too. So and
Her
a lot of people.
Her costume is bad.
The original Laurel
It was really
died,
Black Canary,
right?
yeah.
And a lot of people thought, oh, she's not really dead. They're gonna bring her back. They brought the
In a
actress
smart
back
way.
in a better
Yes,
way,
yes,
which is
yes,
amazing.
yes,
Because
yes.
this Laurel was trained to fight and can do all that
Exactly.
stuff. Yeah,
Exactly.
So obviously we all clearly liked Arrow, but that leads us into our other CW show, Batwoman. I know there was some mixed feelings, but now we have 2 episodes in. I really liked it. The first episode was okay. It was good. But then the end caught me. And then the second episode I was fully into it. You were like me.
So no,
at first.
I was iffy on the first episode. I thought it was okay, but I loved the second episode.
Mhm.
I really did like the second episode. I think because, like, I love the ending of the first episode. So now that I know what I know, now I'm like, okay, I'm in on this show, and I really liked the second episode a lot.
Yeah.
I really did.
And you've been in on it the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about it. I think I just connected to it because it took me back to when Arrow debuted. It's grounded, right? It's not. It doesn't have to do with like speedsters or someone like the characters on Legends or a superpower being like Supergirl. It's much more grounded and dark and gritty, and it has this tint to the show that I just enjoy more because it's much more realistic, obviously. Yeah. And I'm also interested to see a world of Gotham without Batman, what it's like without Batman around, right? All of these stories have always been told with Batman. I want to see what it's like without him, because all those stories have been told in the comic books and stuff. And I surprisingly like Ruby Rose as the character. I thought she's always been like
surprisingly, really?
I've always thought she was a bad actress. I've always thought she was a very stiff bad actress. She kind of did like
she's doing a pretty good job.
She did like the Kristen Stewart thing where she kind of like opened up a little bit, right? And she's kind of like embracing the role and kind of attacking it very strongly. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I like the twist with the sister and
the thing. You have put something in my head that I cannot get out of with that is that she is her Joker.
Yeah.
And that's every time I see it, now I'm like, it makes me like it that much more.
They have that type of relationship, obviously.
Yeah.
Now that she officially knows that mystery, which I love about this episode is that they didn't take 20 episodes to figure out if she was really her sister.
I love that they revealed that.
They just, right away, it's over and done with, let's move on.
Exactly, and now I'm more invested in, I think, the Alice character, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
yes.
And I'm more invested in her. And something I appreciate about the show, I think it's in the first episode, so I think she fights some of her henchmen, and she's a decent fighter, but she gets beat. And,
she's learning.
If it's a Batman show, he whoops all their butts, no problem, easy.
Yeah.
And a lesser writer or showrunner, director, whatever, would have had her just whoop all their butts on her own easily. But she's vulnerable. She's not perfect trained fighter. She's a good fighter. She was in the military. She went to do all this training and stuff. Her dad sent her off to do that. But she's not even as good as Arrow, just whooping everybody she comes across. And I like that. I think we're going to see her get better.
Well, they showed the promo of the last episode of her learning when she gets shot and she didn't know her suit was bulletproof.
Yeah, I love that.
She goes, "Oh, cool."
I love that shot.
She's very much learning.
It's so weird how much I changed from episode 1 to episode 2. It's crazy. I'm excited about this show now.
Well, she's included in the crossover, which is even better.
And she was in the first crossover.
Yes, which she was already Batwoman and everything. So
that crossover. Well, it's the last crossover that Arrow's going to be in.
Yes.
Unless that's not true. Actually, they could bring him back just for the crossover. Technically, they could.
Unless he does.
Depends on how.
Unless he does.
There's 10 million Oliver Queens out there.
Yeah.
Not if all these Earths keep going bye-bye.
Man, that's a good point.
Yeah.
They can get rid of the multiverse in this
Exactly.
thing. Interesting.
Yeah.
They very well could. What if Supergirl ends up on Earth 1? Her Earth is destroyed.
That would be wild for her show in general.
What if she ends up and we see her in Metropolis now? Boom.
Ooh, man. Or I could see there's only 3 Earths left or something. Or 4
totally.
Earths left instead of infinite, right?
Supergirl and Earth 1.
Yeah.
Because they all operate on the same Earth. So, except for Supergirl.
That's wild.
Speaking of Supergirl, though, I know you don't watch the show.
No, you can.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like the episode?
I'm not really, to be honest. I'm okay on it, and I liked episode 1 more, but I just, I think, I forget the name of the dude who worked with her and had a crush on her in season 1.
Jimmy Olsen?
No, not Jimmy Olsen. What's his name? The guy who's our best friend.
Oh my goodness.
You know who I'm talking about.
Win.
I miss Win.
Yeah, so do I.
Honestly, I couldn't tell what it was. It's Win.
Yeah.
What I miss about this show.
She's off at the Legion, man.
Yeah, can we see that, please?
That's a TV show.
Can we see that?
Because Supergirl's boyfriend's with him.
Yes.
A real life husband, Mon-El.
Yes.
Mon-El is
Can we?
his name.
And I miss Mon-El too.
Yeah, Mon-El was a
awesome.
great character.
So yeah, I'm missing these characters who got me invested in the show in the first place, and I'm not connecting to anything in this season. I still love Melissa Benoist as Supergirl. She's amazing.
I'm the same with you.
I'm gonna keep watching it because of her, but I don't know. I'm not invested.
I agree. I think they're just dragging things out that they don't need to. The whole season is going to be about Lena Luthor trying to get revenge on her, essentially, for lying to her for this entire time.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I do like Lena, because I think at first I thought they were going to reveal to us that Lena's actually a villain. She's playing the whole time, but instead they're showing us Lena was actually a really good person, and they're showing us her turn.
Yeah,
which I appreciate. But just the overall show is just, I don't know.
I'm with you.
You know what? I don't like the Catco stuff. Honestly.
Oh, see, that stuff now is getting annoying because it's kind of just
it's the same thing. They already did this where somebody buys the company and they come in and change it and they feel threatened about their jobs. They're just doing it again. So
almost every single season of all those shows have had that storyline.
Yeah,
especially Arrow.
You don't watch The Flash, do you?
Not anymore.
Let's talk about the worst episode of all of the episodes this week.
The Flash.
The Flash.
Really?
Yeah. The only stuff I liked was him going to the future and seeing stuff. That's the only stuff I liked. And I'm doubling down on my comments from last week. Iris is the worst character in this entire universe. She is terrible.
Oh my god.
Absolutely terrible in every freaking way. It's awful. She is horrible. She's trying to be this leader. Just go be a newspaper writer. Go away. Go write your blog.
Okay. I was trying to remember what happened in this
episode. Go write your freaking blog.
The radioactive girl.
It really bothers me because when he came back from the other Earth with Jay Garrick, he's on the couch, right? He's kind of struggling, and he's like, I need to die for all of this. I saw that I'm dying, and she's like, no, you don't. We're not giving up. I'm like, that's not who you are. Go away. Let the Flash be the Flash, and let him do that stuff. I know that they're trying to create substance on the show, and there's romance between the two of them. But
they're married.
It just really bothers me that she's involved in every second of the Flash's business.
Exactly. Yeah.
She's literally here's the Flash, here's her, and I'm betting it right now that he doesn't die in the crossover because of something with those two. I guarantee it right now. They're in love, or she does something, and it's going to be the Amy Adams thing in Batman v Superman again, where she comes to the rescue for Superman. Now Iris is going to come to the rescue for Flash.
I really hope not.
I really think it's going to happen.
There's been times where
they tried to kill her before it didn't happen.
There's been times where I like Iris, but overall, I'm just, yeah, I agree with you. She needs to take a step back. The character needs to take a step back in the show. And it's almost like the Flash is not dependent without her. Like, you know, they have him dependent on her. And it's all about his relationship with her.
Remember when I said in the first episode in the very beginning when they were like, and when Cisco said that's the real deal? He's the real deal. Like, he's the Flash.
Oh, yeah.
He does not feel like the Flash when she's around.
Yeah.
He feels like this guy who's still learning to be the Flash.
And they always have her like, no, Barry, you know, stand up and...
Yeah,
You know who should be giving her those speeches, which I love, is Joe. Joe West is amazing.
That speech was good.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel forced. It feels natural, right? Yes. The Irish ones feel forced. And it's like, just let Joe be his voice of reason. It doesn't have to be Iris.
You know what the show's missing? Harrison Wells from the first season.
Absolutely.
That's what it's missing. Because he was that character.
Mm-hmm. And, yeah, the first season is the best.
Second season was pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Zoom?
Professor Zoom?
Yeah, it was Zoom.
Yeah. I like... who was her boyfriend in the first season?
Oh, yeah, Eddie...
Eddie?
Yeah. Oh, Eddie was amazing.
Eddie Thrawn, yeah, he's the Reverse Flash in the comics. Or, I guess he was in this too. Eddie was a descendant of Eobard. You're right. Yeah, there you go.
Eddie was a great
character.
Absolutely. Kind of like, he's like the Tommy of season 1 of Flash,
he really was. That's a good comparison.
Yeah, and I mean, sorry, spoilers, but that moment when he kills himself to make Reverse Flash go away, one of the best moments in all of these shows. Yeah.
Did Legends premiere?
No, Legends doesn't premiere. Probably later. Actually, it may have premiered.
And I've been watching Black Lightning as well. You don't watch Black Lightning?
I want to.
I love Black Lightning season 1. Season 2's been okay so far. I'm not loving it, but I'm still gonna watch it because the guy, I forget his name right now, but the guy who plays Black Lightning is amazing. I can't wait for him to cross over with the rest of the Arrowverse. I hope it's just him though. And maybe his youngest daughter.
From the pictures, it is
cool.
There's photos of a giant cast photo of him on the Legends ship with all the characters.
I hope it's just him because first of all, they don't have time to bring more than just him, and I can't wait to see him interact with them. It's gonna be awesome.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, that does it for our very all over the place. We hit everything. We went DC, Marvel.
If you're a nerd, you love this stuff.
Yeah, we went all.
We're definitely gonna do. We're probably gonna do CW recaps every week.
Absolutely. Maybe during this time of year.
Yeah, I know that the Nerd Rate of the Nerd Nation is every 2 weeks or every other week, but maybe we get together on a weekly basis and we recap these shows. There's enough of them, and with the crossover.
I mean, it's every week.
Yeah, I mean, it's arguably one of the biggest storylines that we'll probably ever see.
Comic book stuff right now, on TV for sure, yeah.
But you got a little taste of our discussion with Catwoman and Riddler. We also had some Deadpool and the CW shows. Arrow coming to an end, which sucks. But so for Nerd Nation, thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Jake. Check out Apocaflix Movies. We have tons of stuff, tons of new content coming every week. Trailer reactions, Padawan podcasts, Apocaflix now every Saturday. So
every Monday.
Well, yeah, we film on Saturdays.
We film on Saturdays. He's right.
It drops every Monday. But yeah, if you haven't already, definitely hit that subscribe button and a like. And we'd love to hear your comments. Give us a little how you feel about what we talked about today. But for Apocaflix Movies, I'm Brian. Brian, thank you, and we'll see you guys next time.
Hey everyone, Jacob Bartley here. Thanks for watching. If you want to check out something similar from Apocaflix Movies, click this video up here. If you want something a little bit different, check out this video down here. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to Apocaflix Movies and let us know your thoughts in the comments section. We always love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.